Listen up, guys, because we have a new product alert from my absolutely favorite sponsor and a huge friend of the channel, Manscaped.com. They released a brand new product that, to be honest, I desperately needed, and that's the Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer. Now, oh my god, I really can't believe I'm telling you guys this story, but have you ever been on a date with a girl and she kind of points out your nose hairs like while she's sitting across from you? Well, that's happened to me before. And dude, it was by far the most embarrassing thing on earth because I typically don't trim my nose hair. Thankfully, Manscaped is changing the grooming game with the Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer. And they've spent over a year reinventing the traditional nose hair trimmer using only the best materials for the best performance and comfort possible. The way Manscaped is different from your traditional ear and nose hair trimmer is they use the same skin-safe technology from their lawnmower body trimmer, which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs, and anything else that would just cause you crazy pain as you're grooming yourself. They use a 9,000 RPM motor with a 360-degree rotary dual blade system to safely whack your nose hairs. It's water resistant, so you could take it in the shower, and it's the only nose hair trimmer on the market with a cordless rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts for up to 90 minutes of use. Now, if you happen to not purchase the lawnmower yet, well, I have some good news for you. The Weed Whacker is included in their brand new performance package, and typically a Weed Whacker, Crop Preserver, Crop Reviver, and Lawnmower 3.0 would cost you about $200, but now their performance package and peak hygiene plan is only $109.99. But get this, you can get an additional 20% off of your purchase if you use my promo code FlightMike for 20% off. That's promo code FlightMike for 20% off on Manscaped.com. And thank you, Manscaped, for the sponsor. So I believe we could all agree that this year's NBA free agency isn't going to be as awesome as last year's free agency was. And how could it be? There's not nearly as many moving pieces. A lot of the best players are either signed to extensions or locks to sign for an extension. I don't see Anthony Davis leaving the Los Angeles Lakers, which means Bradley Beal is probably the most intriguing piece that could leave his team. I guess you could say Giannis Antetokounmpo as well, but the thing about Giannis is I don't really see him coming out and demanding a trade during a time where he could be competing for a championship. Which means today we're going to be discussing a pretty interesting piece of news about Bradley Beal that could potentially make sense, although I'm not really sure if it does. Before we get to the content, guys, please take a moment to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on my notifications on. I live stream on Twitch Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 9 p.m. Pacific time. And one more thing. I've been trying to get into podcasting, guys, so if any of you guys know how I could get set up with that, I'm kind of a noob here. Hit me up on my email, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere, because I would really like to get my content on Apple Music and Spotify, because I know some of you guys just listen to me as you're driving. Cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Your boy TheFlightMike back again with some brand new NBA news. Now, guys, I want to take a moment to apologize for the long, drawn-out intros. It's definitely not my intention, so I'm just gonna cut straight to it. So, a lot of you guys know that Bradley Beal is probably the most intriguing player that could leave his team this offseason. And I know what Wizards fans are going to say, but Mike, Bradley Beal literally said that I want to spend the rest of my career in Washington, D.C., and he did. Literally, he said in March, for me, I look at Kobe, I look at D-Wade, I look at Dirk Nowitzki, I look at Udonis Haslem, and how they can stay in one situation for a long time. I hate change. If it happens, it happens. But if I can control it, I will finish in Washington, D.C. Well, here's the thing. Just because he feels that way and he feels loyal to the Washington Wizards doesn't necessarily mean that the Washington Wizards are going to feel the same way towards him. We literally saw this happen with Andre Drummond. He stated that he would like to stay in Detroit. The Pistons didn't believe it. They shipped him to Cleveland because they truly didn't think he would want to stick around. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Andre Drummond was lying. But let's say Bradley Beal is the most noblest of lads, and he would never, ever backstab the Washington Wizards like that. Well, let's take a look at the Los Angeles Clippers. A mere 3 years ago, they signed Blake Griffin to this incredible contract extension, and they really did their best to sell him on this concept of being the greatest Clipper of all time. His jersey will hang amongst the rafters, behind the, division championships and division title banners that they won. I don't know, man. But you get what I'm saying. 5 months later, they traded him to the Detroit Pistons. There's no loyalty in this league. What they're saying doesn't matter. If it makes sense for Bradley Beal to get traded, bro, he's going to get traded. And I'm sorry, the combination and the tandem of John Wall and Bradley Beal already peaked. And, they were really fun to watch, but it didn't yield a championship. I guess you could say it sucks because they were in the same conference as LeBron James, and that's kind of like a virtual lock of not winning a championship, but now you have John Wall, who tore his Achilles. I'm sorry to be so negative. You guys know I'm rooting for John Wall, but bro, if your game is 100% based off of your athleticism and your quick burst, and you lose that quick first step badge, you lose the contact finisher badge, you regress from a 90 overall to maybe an 82 overall, chances are you're not going to be as good, man. And he also has this max extension that hasn't even kicked in yet. What I'm trying to say is it makes the most sense for the Washington Wizards to move on from Bradley Beal. If you disagree with that at all, please tell me why in the comment section down below. I would like to have a chat with you in the comments. So here's the thing. I've proposed a trade about this a while ago, and it had to do with the Brooklyn Nets. And to be honest, if you ask me, between the Brooklyn Nets and the Lakers, if I am the Washington Wizards, I'm sorry, but the Brooklyn Nets make significantly more sense. A team that could offer you Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, and Jarrett Allen sounds way, way more appealing than a team that could offer you Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green and, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Alex Caruso, even though Alex Caruso's the GOAT. You get what I'm saying. And at the same time, Bradley Beal's having the greatest season of his career. He's averaging 30.5 points per game because John Wall isn't on the roster. But at the same time, the Wizards are barely able to make it to the playoffs. They are literally 5.5 games behind the Orlando Magic to become an 8th seed. And once you're an 8th seed, whoop-de-doo, man, guess what? You're probably going to be a first-round exit. Why would you even fight for that? Honestly, I would try to tank so I could at least have a chance of getting a good lottery pick. So this video is mainly about if it makes sense from the Lakers side to even entertain a trade for Bradley Beal, because according to Shams Charania, the Lakers have already shown interest in Beal at various points, and it's unclear what package they could offer that would sufficiently entice Washington, because the Lakers really don't have that many assets to offer the Washington Wizards in a trade package. So I'm telling you right now, this is a speculative video that should be made, but if you ask me, being a very realistic analyst that does like to speculate, I don't think it could happen possibly. I really don't. But let's say it does. The way it would happen is Alex Caruso, Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma go bye-bye. Probably all the other first-round picks that the Lakers could give up would probably go bye-bye. And what they would receive in return, and the reason they would do this is because they are fearful for how LeBron is aging. He's 35 years old, and LeBron James is, don't get me wrong, the way LeBron is aging, I've only seen in one other sport. You could pretty much say what he's doing for basketball is what Tom Brady is doing for football. Although Tom Brady's winning Super Bowls, LeBron's getting close, but he isn't really winning NBA championships. We could get to the whys and why nots, but facts are facts. He wasn't able to win championships recently up until the 2016 NBA season. He was going up against the Warriors, I'll give that to him, but you get what I'm saying. If we look at LeBron James' statistics, we could all agree that, yeah, he is taking, I guess, a slight step back in points per game, but his assists are shooting up to the roof. His rebounds are taking a step back, and this is all very surprising because he now has Anthony Davis on the squad. So the first question is very simple. When could we expect LeBron James to regress? And I went back and I looked at some careers of NBA players that were regressing but were able to still compete for a championship as they were regressing. And I was looking at how teams were built around those players. And the thing I realized the most is probably the best players that we could compare LeBron James to is I would probably say Magic Johnson comes up, but Magic Johnson didn't really fully regress. He just had to stop because of a groundbreaking, earth-shattering disease at the time, HIV. We understand it better now, but back then it was pretty much viewed the same way as we view the coronavirus right now, or similarly, because people didn't know what caused HIV and no one really knew how to combat it. But the best player that I think LeBron's career is going to reflect is probably Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because if you look at the way Kareem's career went, in the 1985 to 86 season, he was still pretty freaking good at scoring the ball. He was still averaging 23 points per game, and he was 38 years old. He was still doing his thing. In his age 39 season, that's when things started to hit the fan. That's when he started averaging 17.5 points per game. The year after, he averaged 14.6, and in his final season, 10.1 points per game. Although he got significantly less minutes in his final season because, dude, he was 41 years old. So here's another trend that you should pay attention to. In the first season that he began to regress, when he averaged 6 points less per game, the Los Angeles Lakers actually won a championship, and this is why. By the time it was the 1986 to 1987 season, James Worthy was entering his prime. They leaned a little bit less on Kareem, and they leaned a little bit more on Magic Johnson and James Worthy, and it worked for the Los Angeles Lakers. So the same thing essentially has to be done for LeBron James. The only reason the Lakers would even consider gutting out their depth and their roster and multiple first-round picks is so they could build around Anthony Davis and they could allow LeBron James to take his foot off of the gas pedal and mainly focus on creating for his teammates as opposed to scoring the basketball. And if you ask me, that will work. So the only reason it makes sense to trade for a player like Bradley Beal is because of that. But if you ask me, there's such better ways to get yourself scoring. There's such better ways to potentially acquire an all-star. I don't think what the Lakers would be giving up would be worth what they're receiving. Completely mortgaging your future is never something that I'm on board with. And if you ask me once again, if I'm the Washington Wizards, I would want to take any offer from the Brooklyn Nets over any offer from the Los Angeles Lakers. The only reason I could possibly see a trade going down with the Lakers is because maybe the Wizards want to trade Bradley Beal to a completely different conference. I'm not really sure. Let me know what you guys think about this rumor. Do you think they're just blowing this out of proportion just so they could stir up some controversy and some trade speculation? Or do you think Shams Charania is onto something here? If you were the Los Angeles Lakers, if you had to give up a great amount of assets to acquire a 26-year-old Bradley Beal to pair with a 27-year-old Anthony Davis, would you do it? Or would you search for alternative means of acquiring a star? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy, TheFlightMike, and I'll catch you guys in our next upload.